Hello students. So welcome to lecture 3 of arrays lesson. So in arrays there are basically very two important algorithms, that is searching and sorting, right? So today's topic is searching. Searching is nothing but identifying an element in the array. So there are two important models under searching. Searching of an element into the single dimensional array, right? So in today's class, we will see how to do searching of an element in a one dimensional or single dimensional array. So as I told you, searching is identifying an element in an array. It is of two types. The first one is linear search, and the second search you have in your syllabus is binary search. So in today's class, we will see how to apply linear search, the algorithm for linear search, because you have to, like in exam, if they ask you search for a particular element using linear search, then you have to use linear search only. So it is important to know these algorithms very clearly. Okay, so let's see what this searching is. So as I told you, the searching algorithm, the searching of an element in an array means finding the index of that element in the array or checking if that value exists in the array or not. So basically it is identifying an element in the array, identifying it with its position, right? So that is searching. And then there are basically two methods of searching, the linear search and binary search. And linear search is also called sequential search, as we search for the element starting from first element till we find the array element or till the end of the array. We find it one by one. First, we compare those the element which we are searching with all the elements starting from a of 0, then a of 1, a of 2, like that. We'll continue searching for the element we want in the array, and wherever this n match with the element of the array, the element is found and we print its position, right? And if the element is not in the list, we print some related message saying search unsuccessful or element not in the list, something like that. Okay, so let's see the mechanism of linear search. Here, each element is compared with the value to be searched in a sequential manner, that is one by one. Since each element is checked, the searching speed becomes slow for arrays with large number of elements. Yeah, since here we use a sequential search, searching all the elements right from first till we find or till the end of array. So obviously, if you have many elements in the array, this will become little slow, right? So let's understand linear search with the help of a program directly. Here, let's see the first question here. The question is, write a program to input 10 integers in a one-dimensional array. Sometimes they also use it as single-dimensional array or 1D array, one-dimensional array, where elements are stored in continuous memory location. So this is referred to as 1D array or single-dimensional array. Using linear search technique, print the position of the number n accepted by the user. So we are going to search for this n in the array containing 10 integers using linear search, and also print the error message if the element is not found. So if suppose this element is not there in the list. So you have to print the related message accordingly. Okay, so let's check it out in BlueJ. Yeah, so this is the linear search program. Yeah, so here also, as I told you before, first we create an array for storing 10 integers, okay? And then we accept elements into the array. So these are the common statements we will be using in any array program. Creating an array, inputting elements into the array using a for loop, okay? Now, since you are searching for an element here, you will input an element to be searched. So here we write enter an array element to be searched and we store it in a variable n. See, always use short and related names. Do not unnecessarily use long and some words you feel like. Okay, maintain a standard naming conventions, right? So first creating array, accepting elements into the array, then inputting the element which you want to search. Okay, these are clear. Now here, what we are doing, we have to compare the element which you are searching with all the array elements one by one. Now here the size of array is 10. So obviously this search, we don't know exactly. See, the internally your array will look something like this. Okay, suppose the element I have entered are suppose 10, 30, 5, 25, okay, 60, 75, and there are 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. There are total 10 elements. You can apply linear search on any array, whether it is in sorted form or in unsorted form. Linear search can be applied on any array, right? So this is your array A of integers, and suppose you input the value for n. Your n is suppose say 60. Okay, suppose. I'm just explaining you through this dry run with the sample input as shown in the screen. Now here your for loop starts with I, that is 0. Now 0 less than a dot length is true. Your a dot length is 10, the size of the array. And once it enters the block, what you're doing, you're comparing n, which is 60, with a of 0. Is it true? A of 0 is 10, right? A of 0 is 10. So 60 is equal to 10 is false. Therefore, all this will not execute and the control comes here, the for loop. And then again it goes back. Now I value is 1 and now 60 is compared with a of 1. Again, this is false second time. So all this will not take place and the control moves to the next value, that is I value 2. Now n will be compared with a of 2. 60 is equal to 5 is again false. So no execution happens, goes back to 3. Now here a of 3 is 25. 60 is equal to 25 is again false. So if block will not execute, and here the end of for. So before going out, it goes to the I plus plus I becoming 4. Now n is 60, which is compared with a of 4. See, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are the index values, the I values. So a of 4 is nothing but 60, right? So here this is true. 60 is equal to a of 4. A of 4 is referring to the value 60 which is in the array. Now, since this condition is true, all this if block statements will execute and you print the element. You have a SOPLN statement using which you print the position of the element n. Now here we write element n found at position I plus 1. Now why we are writing I plus 1? So this will display the output as element 60 found at position. What will it display? I value is 4, but it will give 5, right? See, whenever you display the output must always be in general language. Now, for example, your searching element is 10, suppose. So, will you write the position of 10 as 0? If you just write I, it will display the index position, which we understand knowing computer application. But the general people will not understand that. If you say 10 found at position 0, it will not make sense. Therefore, to convert it into general language, we put it I plus 1 here, right? So that the position is general, like 10 is at first position, second, third, fourth, and fifth position. Okay, so always do I plus 1 here when you are displaying the position in general. And if your elements of the array are unique, non-repetitive, then once you find the element, you need not continue searching and you can just come out of your for using the break statement. So depending on your program, you can use break or you can skip using break. And this flag concept we are using to display the error message. So this flag will become 1 only if this is true, and this will be true if element is in the list, if element is in the array, right? Otherwise your flag will remain 0. So this condition you can use for displaying the error message. Okay, so it's just a variable, if flag becomes 1, that means the element is there in the list. If it remains 0, that means the element is not in the list, right? So we can use that and display the error message. Just show you that. So at the end, if flag equal to 0, SOPLN search unsuccessful element not in the list, right? So this is a simple program which depicts the application of linear search, right? So first, just let's review it once again. First, we create the array, initialize flag variable to 0, input elements into the array, input the element to be searched, and then using the for loop, we compare the element to be searched with all the array elements. If it is true, we make flag 1, we display the position of n as I plus 1, and we come out of the loop using break. So break has to be used if elements are unique. For example, you have an array of Aadhaar number or phone numbers or names of the people. So in such cases, they will be unique. So there you can use break. But if there is any chance of repetitive elements, then you need not use break. Otherwise, the very first time it is true, it will execute and it will come out. It won't check the remaining, right? So use break only if elements are unique. And at the end, we display the error message, like if the element which you are searching is not in the list. So this will never be true. Therefore, flag will never become 1 and it will remain 0. So we use that condition for displaying the error message, right? So let's see the execution part. So this is linear search, compile it. It is giving no syntax error. And then we call the function enter array elements. Now I need to enter 10 values. Let me give 10 Okay, let's make it simple. We'll give it simple values so that we can remember the order as well. And 1000. Okay. So my 10 values are done. Now enter an array element to be searched. Now suppose I want to search 500 or say 300. So what is the position of 300? 300 is at position 3, but the index of 300 in the array will be 2. So since I have given I plus 1, it will display it as 2 plus 1, that is 3. So that is the general position of 300 in the array. Okay. So I'll just show you the output once again with an element not in the list. Now let me give again. Okay, these are my elements. Suppose I give the element 4, right? So since 4 is not in the array, it is giving me search unsuccessful element not in the list, some message. So if you do not include that, then you will not get any message and it looks incomplete. So sometimes they ask you specifically in question to display an error message, right? So this is your linear search logic. Please practice it in your BlueJ. Yeah, so coming back to the programs list here. So first one I just showed you now. You can take 10 names, okay? Just replace integers with names and apply them. Only change, everything will remain same. Only when you are comparing the name which you want to search with the array names. When you are comparing the array names with the name you want to search, instead of using equal to operator, you have to use now the string functions. You can use equals or equals, ignore case, or compared to equals is the easiest one, because strings can be compared only using string functions. So only that change you have to do. All other things, like instead of integer array, it will be a string array, right? So this program you practice using the integers, using names, the strings, and you can even practice the second program here. Write a program to input 10 names in an array and a character, a single character. Now display all the names of the array starting with the accepted character. So just see the sample input to understand the question. Here enter names. Okay. So since you have given 10 names, you will enter 10 names and then you will enter the letter. Here I have given S. So your program should display all the names which are starting with the character accepted from the user. So in this list, right now there are only two names, Shrija and Satvik, which are starting with S. So the sample output, your output should display the names which are starting with S. Okay. So this is a string array. Create a string array of size 10. Input elements into the array. Then using linear search and the required string function. Here you will be comparing the first letter of all the arrays with the character you have accepted. For example, this is CH and these are your A of I, right? You are storing all these names into the array A and this character you are storing in char CH. So you will compare CH with the first letter of all the strings. So you extract the first character using charAt function. This is your string, right? So s dot charAt 0 will give you first letter of the string, which you are comparing with the character you have accepted. So if this is true, you need to display that string, which is in A of I. See why I'm using A of I? Because you have to check all the 10 names, because the size of array is 10. So you put all of this within a for loop, because you're repeating this checking 10 times. Okay, so this was just a hint. Make necessary changes and you can come up with your own logics, not an issue. But please do these programs, try it out in BlueJ, and also you can practice writing it in the notebook later on after the concept is clear. Okay, so today we have covered linear search, applying of linear search in a single dimensional array. You can practice with integers and strings. Okay, so next class we will see how to apply linear search with two arrays. So that's all for today's class. Thank you everyone.